Alright everyone, it's time to add a wind sound effect. So catch up to me. I've uploaded the wind sounds sound effect. This is not provided by Scratch. You have to go to the link which is underneath the description below this video. And when you upload it, I want you to make it louder a few times by fattening it up. Just nice and loud. Go to when I receive, start level. This gust strength here, set gust strength. If this isn't already inside the if then you should put it there, because you really only need to set the gust strength if you're actually on the wind level. Go to sound and start sound, wind sounds, full, and just pop it in here on the start level so it checks, is this the right level for the wind? And if so, it starts playing the wind sound. But before that, I also want you to put set volume to 10%, because what we're going to do is we're going to have the default volume for the wind sound to be very quiet, but then every time there's a gust, it's going to increase the volume. As the gust increases, the volume's going to increase, and so it feels like the wind gets stronger, and you can hear it getting stronger when the wind strength increases. And then what we're going to do is remember that there's a bunch of clones that are moving around, and then there's one hidden leaf, which is the master leaf, and they're all just copies of it, but you never see that. We're going to get the hidden leaf to handle the sound effects. So we're going to create a new variable, make a variable, call it IMaster, and for this sprite only. So what this is going to do is it's going to be yes for the master leaf, and it's going to take value no for all the clones. So now at the beginning of the game, we're going to set IMaster to yes. So when I receive start game, and this means that right at the beginning of the game, the main sprite gets a little value that's special to it, which is basically IMaster set to yes. But for the clones, when the clones appear, when I start as clone, each of those, now normally that would just inherit the same value, so IMaster yes. But we're going to change it for each of the clones. So as soon as it starts as a clone, it's going to set its own value to no. So remember, each of them has its own copy of this variable. So when the clone sets IMaster to no, that doesn't change the value for the main sprite, that stays as yes. So this is going to distinguish the main sprite from all the others, so that when we broadcast a message, we can check whether it's being received by the master or the clone. So now when I receive gust, the question is who's receiving it? Well, put an if then else. If IMaster equals yes, then do the sound effects. Otherwise, you're not the master, just go ahead and do your gust stuff. So if IMaster equals yes, then make a block, adjust volume. So hopefully you can see what's happening here. The master leaf is going to handle the volume. It's like the DJ. And the rest of the leaves, they're going to actually be the dancers that are dancing on the ground. You can't see the master leaf, but it's in the background, and we've given it a job to do now. It's now going to be adjusting the volume for the sound effect. And that allows everything to go on in parallel. So they can get on with their thing at the same time that the master is getting on with adjusting the volume. It saves us having to wait for one for the other. So now adjust volume. Grab an if then else, and we need repeat until. So repeat until volume equals, grab a divides, but don't worry about the details yet, equals gust strength. And then put the if then here. If volume is greater than gust strength, scaled by whatever we're going to put in here later. So if volume is greater than gust strength, then volume is too high. If volume is too high, change the volume by -1. Otherwise, volume is too low. Change the volume by 1. Make it higher. Now, I left these gaps here because volume and gust strength are completely incomparable. Volume is nearly always going to be lower than gust strength, because gust strength is on a scale from 0 to 20,000. Volume is only on a scale from 0 to 100. So in order to make this comparison where we're asking, is volume lower or higher than gust strength, we really need to bring gust strength onto the same scale. So we can ask, well, is volume lower than what gust strength would be if it were on the same scale as volume? So gust length gets up around as high as 200, and strength is set to be as high as 100 times that. 200 times 100, well, that's the same as adding 2 zeros in the end, so it's 20,000. So it's bigger than volume by a factor of 200. So to scale it, we've got to divide by that 200 to bring it back down to size. So that should put them on the right scale. So now repeat until volume is about the right size as gust strength. And what we're going to do is if it's too high, we're going to lower it a little bit. And if it's too low, then we're going to raise it a little bit. And that should give us a smooth effect. We want to use change here rather than set, because set will cause big jumps to exactly where you need to be. So if you set volume to gust strength divided by 200, it'll just immediately go to that, which may cause a sudden jump in the volume, like a sharp jump that sounds wrong, doesn't sound natural. But if instead of just setting it to the volume it needs to be, we keep repeatedly nudging it in the direction that it needs to be, then that'll create a gentle raise and lowering of the sound effect. So let's see how that sounds. Okay, the gust goes to complete silence there. And then to silence again. And I don't want that. I want the wind to sound as if it's retreating into the distance. I don't want it to sound as if it's completely gone away. But I know why this is happening, so I know how to fix it. This can sometimes keep lowering it down to 0. So if gust strength goes down to 0, this is going to lower the volume to 0, which makes it sound like the wind's gone completely away. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop that. I'm going to put an if then around this and duplicate that. If volume is greater than 10, then change the volume by -1. But if it's not greater than 10, then don't do anything. So this will stop it ever going below 10. So you'll always be able to hear the wind blowing even if it's in the distance. Okay, I'm happy with that, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for listening, and if you find this video useful, please hit like and subscribe.